Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Bumby from the Bronx. How's everybody doing today, guys? You know, Bumby's alright. I hope everybody else is doing okay. You know, I'm hanging in there, guys. Feeling a little bit in my feelings, but I'm very numb to a lot of things. I really am. I feel very, very numb. Um. I need help, guys. I need a little bit of help. I need somebody to help me with the whole New York State sex registry. If somebody can help me with that, I will pay them because honestly, I really don't know what I am doing. When I get online, I get very confused very fast, and that is due to the fact that I was on the streets for so long that I never learned really much about the computer. I know how to Google, and it does come up on Google, but then all of a sudden I put the name in and it's just like a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo, like a whole bunch of fine print. Listen, why can't I just put the name up and see the charges and the picture? That's all I want. So if anybody feels compelled, I would appreciate it, and I will pay you to help Bobby find Michael Perry, his profile picture, and the charges at hand. Okay, because I was talking to the nurse in my program, and she said once you are on Megan's list, you are always on Megan's list. There's no exception to the rule. It doesn't matter that I didn't go to court, and none of that matters. What matters is that he was charged, he was convicted, and he has to register for the rest of his life. I don't know what level offense he is. I do know that I did not show up to court. I do know that is around the same time that I met George, my first two children, Julius and Diana's father. And that whole ordeal, happened right. So the thing with my stepfather, my whole life went from this. It went from my parents not being together, my parents, total dysfunction, fighting and whatnot. I was supposed to be aborted. The sexual abuse, when I lived with my mom, my dad wasn't around. Then I moved in with my dad after we were being molested because, my mom, she wanted to move on with her life with her new boyfriend, and she gave us to my father, and my father wanted to take us in because of the molestation and stuff. So, she basically my mother said like, oh, it's your turn. I've had them, even though we were being abused. I do have a lot of happy memories as a kid, and I'm going to talk about those too, because I'm not just going to talk about the negative, but I just want people to know the abuse background, because the abuse is what leaves a person scarred. The happy times is what resonates dear to your heart to keep you moving forward and, give you a positive perspective on life. I don't know, in a way, why us as human race so gravitated to expressing, the negative and the trauma. I think it's because we just want people to hear us. Just want someone to believe what happened. Because I told my mother when I was little after it happened. Not immediately, because I was only 4. He might have even done this beforehand, so I have really good memory, but, a lot of times we block things out. But as far as I know, my cousin started touching me and my sister when I was 4 and she was 8. So that happened. I moved in with my dad. My stepmother was very abusive, more mentally than physically, but she did squeeze my face a lot. And my dad always punished me. I wasn't allowed to do anything. Why that was? I was not a rebellious little girl. I wasn't. I was just very adventurous. I wanted to have friends. I wanted to ride my bike. I just wanted to do normal kid stuff, and I wasn't allowed to do it. And all this confusion and dysfunction and moving around so much, you know, I did grow up in one house in particular predominantly. That was the house in Centereach. But I went to so many different schools because we moved back and forth. I moved back and forth, and then when I was with one parent, they moved back and forth. So it was craziness. So then I moved with my mom, the thing with Mike, you know, so it went from molestation, it went from almost being aborted, parents not being together, molestation, moving with my dad, physical and some mental abuse, moving with my mom, you know, stepfather and the whole seducing thing, and my mom pushing me on him, that to meeting George, having 2 kids with him, being abused by him, me and him getting into a lot of fights, you know, my kids being taken from me. From there, I wound up doing drugs, wound up on the streets at Hunts Point for over a decade. From there, in that time I was in Hunts Point, I have had many good times and many bad times, you know. I'd say I had more good times than bad because I felt like I had people, you know, a family that I could relate to, you know, and that seen something in me that my own family didn't see. And that I gravitated to the most. When I was out there, it was not easy, first and foremost, because I was, you know, I stood out. Like I said, I had to earn my respect, and I did. But I'm talking about on an outside level, there was many people that violated me, a lot of tricks, and, you know, people, yeah, Johns and tricks, that's it, you know. I've been choked out on the rooftop. That was the true story I told the other day about the boys and everything. That was my first traumatic experience in the Bronx. That did not happen at Hunts Point, as I clearly stated. The first traumatic thing that I ever went through in Hunts Point had to be the master of disguise. That had to be, yes. As a matter of fact, that was the first time. So I'm going to start right now. I'm going to start my little series of my since you guys already know what happened with my childhood. Now it's time to get into Hunts Point, guys. This is a whole nother ball game. This is a whole nother life. This series that I'm about to start is going to be really intense. I believe so. Very deep and a tough, hard pill to swallow. Because I don't know how the hell I came out of there alive. What I'm saying is, I don't know for myself. I know because of my faith, my spirituality, and my connection with the Most High, and that His angels were round about me, and my mom was praying for me. My mother only came out to the Bronx when I had pneumonia, when they said I was going to die. When I was pregnant, she didn't come out not one time. Not once. And I did talk to her on the phone. She knew where I was. She just didn't come. And I asked her that, and she claims, I went out with my friend Connie, and I couldn't find you. Wait, hold on a second. Excuse me? You couldn't find me? I was talking to you on the phone all the time. You knew exactly where I was. So she feels bad about that. And I understand as a mother, you know, I don't know what was going through her head. I think my mother resents me a lot because what happened with her boyfriend, that he you know, had an affair with me at the age of 12 to 16. Can we even call that an affair? Because I didn't fight him off. I didn't fight him off. You know, I not embraced what he did, but I thought that this man was in love with me, you know. But at the same time, my mother was pushing me on him physically. It's like, what do you think is gonna happen? You pushing a cute young girl on top of a grown man, you know, on his lap, rubbing his feet, rubbing his back. Ew. Yo, when I think about this stuff, guys, I get so disgusted. I feel so like uncomfortable. I just feel so many different things, and I hate it. I hate it. Like, I don't even know how I get the strength. Can somebody tell me? How is it I face this man with, I don't know how I just don't go fucking buck wild on him. Like, how dare you? How dare you fucking brainwash me? And my mother didn't know I smoked weed? She didn't smell it? I mean, come on. This man he's the one who bought me weed? I never smoked weed besides that. He's the one who bought me the weed. I never smoked weed before that, guys. Never. Alright, so let's get into the situation with Hunts Point. So the first traumatic experience I had in Hunts Point was, there was this man, okay? Let me go on the other side of the street. Walk around, rather. So there was this guy who basically went around, and his sister had gotten ill from one of the girls out there. I don't know who got him sick, but somebody gave his brother HIV. So he was on a mission, guys. A mission to find whoever this girl was and potentially take it out on all of the girls out there. I gotta move fast because there's a young kid behind me, and this is not for the young to hear. I feel very guilty when young kids hear about the things that I went through. I feel very bad, like I'm doing something wrong. I do. So let me go in a little corner somewhere where I can continue this conversation. You can never be too careful. So what happened is this guy, like I said, he was on a mission, and his mission was to get us all and to find her, whoever this was. So, you know, regular night, I believe it was around the fall time. This guy, you know, I'm on the stroll, I'm on Tiffany or Barry, one of the two. And he comes up, rolling up in his car, get in, blah, blah, blah. Hi, my name is Vanessa, what can I do for you? That was my general greeting. Hi, my name is Vanessa, what can I do for you? So I get in, and everything seems to be going fine. We go across into Jetro, which is a little area that is it's like the next section out of Hunts Point. So you get on the Brucker, you make a left where the gas station is, and it's the next turnover. So you have to go over a bridge as well. So nevertheless, I get in this man's car. He had like a station wagon. Get in the station wagon, and like I said, my name is Vanessa. Pull up, start talking, parking, and he pulls out a knife. He pulls out a knife and says to me, "Take off all your clothes and get in the back seat." Take all my clothes, get in the back seat. Now, mind you, he had this to my throat, just like the guy slashed my back. Okay? All I can feel is like this serrated edge to my throat. As he's pressing it in, he's like holding it up, telling me to hop over the seat or he's gonna gut me. Jumps in the back seat with me, gets on top of me, grabs me by the back of my head and starts raping me. He says to me, "Do you value your life? Do you want to live?" He's like, "I'm gonna effing kill every last effing one of you bitches out here." He's like, "One of you girls gave my brother HIV and I'm gonna fucking kill you all. You're all dead." And he kept saying he was just repeating the same lines over and over. "Do you appreciate your life? Do you want to live? You guys gave my brother AIDS. I'm gonna fucking kill every last one of you. I'm gonna gut you. I'm gonna hang you up by your toe and by a tree and all that. And he was just so angry, and he didn't look me in the face, but his head was like right here, so he's just breathing and saying all of this stuff, and I'm just so fucking confused, and I'm just answering him in like just utter fear. I was afraid, because this was the first time I ever been raped like that. We're forced upon with a knife. It was just, I have no words for when a person goes through something like that. Over and over. When someone goes through these kinds of traumas over and over, it leaves a person exposed, but also you build, especially coming from the background I came from. So I already had a thick layer of skin, guys. I already had that outer protection, that wall, not letting anyone in, but also I had a very soft side about me, a vulnerability, a kind heart that I take no credit for, none, because I would do anything for anybody, and that's the God's honest truth. When people ask me for money on the street and I know they're doing drugs, I say that you are me. I am you. It's the truth. Although I didn't do it in that nature, I still hustled. What I did was panhandle in a different fashion. I would tell them I need $1 for gas or park to my car, that whole scheme. Now, after this man was done, he tells me, "Get the F out." And here I am, raped, just confused, staggering, basically I didn't even think nothing of it, honestly, after that moment. Like, at first it was like, and then what can I do? I can't make a police report, I can't do none of that. See, guys? I can't do none of that. And even if I could, I could have. There was nothing holding me back. But come on, a prostitute saying someone raped you? Come on now. People be like, that's a fucking joke. Prostitute getting raped? Like, what are you talking about, miss? That's how it's looked upon by many people. Many. And I understand where they're coming from, but there has to be a line drawn between prostitution and rape, and where you could say, okay, that person was raped. Yes, it was rape because, first of all, he did not get paid, and there was a knife to my throat, and he was irate. He was crazy. I don't know where that whole concept comes in that a prostitute cannot be raped. I don't understand that. I think that is really just crazy. That's a crazy way to think. So the guy, years later, this very same guy did this again to me. He was a master of disguise. I'm telling you guys, I Barbarisi from the Bronx, Jesus, has an exceptional facial recognition memory. I could see somebody's side profile of a silhouette and know who it is by seeing them one time. And that is a gift. That is a gift from God. I take no credit for the gifts that God has gifted me with. Zero. Because if it wasn't for my Creator, I wouldn't have none of these gifts. Zero. I'm so parched. I get thirsty so easily. That's why I carry this with me. You know, I have to carry it with me, guys. So guys, you know, I came to this area because it's private, and I don't want kids hearing this, not for children's ears. And I just feel comfortable because I can be, you know, a little boisterous, because it's not something I'm going to be expressing in really a docile manner, because it's not a docile situation. So I'm not going to I'll be reserved with my language. I'm trying to. When it comes to this stuff, it's not easy to speak of and not slip out a few curse words, but I'm trying to be as ladylike as I could be, and be as genuine and as expressful at the same time. So this man was a master of disguise. Like I said, I'm very good at recognizing faces. 21 minutes, 42 seconds, okay. Years later, same guy, didn't recognize him, did the same thing. This time, it was in the schoolyard. It's a little school that's between Bryant and, I believe, Whittier Street, if I'm not mistaken. Okay? Hold on. Looking in that box. He's hoping there's nobody in there. So this guy, this time he does it in the schoolyard, like I said, between Bryant and Whittier Street. Hold on a second. Actually, wait a minute. Whittier Street is the street after, so no, it is not. It's behind Bryant. It's behind Bryant, and the school is also on Bryant. No, actually, yes, it is Whittier Street. I'm pretty much sure, but anyway, it's off of Lafayette, Bryant, and I believe Whittier Street. I think it's a charter school, if I'm not mistaken. You know, it's a nice school for kids, and he did that right in the little ditch in there. There's a little part of where the kids enter. Well, not so much the kids, the teachers and whatnot. There's a little parking lot, very small, and in the parking lot there's a little patch of grass that dips down a little bit, and that's where he did it, right there. And how I knew it was him, because he grew a beard, and he looked totally different, like he lost weight. Like it seemed like a totally different human being. And I couldn't believe that he pulled the wool over my eyes. The MO, that's how I knew it was him. Started saying the same thing. Do you want to live? Do you value your life? I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna kill all of you. I'm gonna fucking kill every last one of you bitches. You gave my brother HIV. You're dead. And at this, while it's not like he's just saying this with a knife to my throat. This is being done while he's raping me. Raping me, guys. and hard. This man was not trying to be gentle by no means at all. By no means. Wow, look at this, guys. It looks like someone came over here to feed the hungry and the homeless. And they just left this. When I'm done, actually, let me do it now. I'm gonna give this bread to the birds. So guys, you see these? I'm not trying to get off subject, but I just wanna show you something. You see this? I used to get food from these people. These people go around Hunts Point and other areas in the Bronx as such, and they feed the homeless. They give people bags with sandwiches, milk, a little snack and an apple, and it's a shame. Excuse me. It is an absolute shame and disgrace that this food has gone to waste. Gone to waste when there's starving people out there. This is what I can't deal with, guys. Barbarisi can't deal with that, guys. Barbarisi can't deal with the fact that people are starving. Starving, and someone has the audacity to throw perfectly good sandwiches that could have fed these homeless people such as I at one time. Well, I'm still technically homeless because I am in a homeless shelter with my son and Tito. But still, you know, it's just a disgrace, man. That, I have no patience. So you know what I do? You know what I do when I see food that goes to waste, like if it's out on the street, like this? Because I've seen stuff like this before. I open the bag and I give it to the birds. I give it to the birds. I love to feed the birds. I love watching them in flight. I think it is just, it's like a dance. It's like an elegant dance on a stage. It is. They're dancing on the dance floor of the wind. It's like the wind, the air is their dance floor. And when they take flight, it's like a beautiful, beautiful display of life and just how, you know, the patterns are amazing. If you ever watch the pigeons, especially, how the pigeons take flight and how they embrace the air that is beneath their wings. It is beautiful. I could watch them for hours. I really could. So this man, while he's raping me, guys, is saying all of this stuff to me. So it's like, come on, man. Your brother got HIV from one of us hoes, but you're gonna rape one of us, you know? And I'm sure I'm not the only one he done this to. Guys, he did it one other time after that. Years later, because remember, I was out there over 10 years. The only break I ever had was when I got pneumonia and I went to live with my brother. God rest his soul. That was the only, and when I was in jail, numerous times. So guys, this time is on a rooftop. Same thing, raping me with the knife. Guys, let me tell you something about this guy. You know what burns in my soul? What burns in my soul is that when he was done the second time, not the third time, the second time, he threw the knife down and it was a plastic knife. He raped me with a plastic knife. Do you know what that does to a person? Do you know what that takes away from a person's dignity? A person, how you feel as a human being? Like you took away a piece of me with a piece of plastic? I would have tried to fight him off. Because you have to understand, I don't care how tough you are, man. If somebody is on, a big dude is on top of you that weighs way more, and you on drugs and you frail and you dope sick, and they got a knife to your throat, you know, it's gonna happen. They're gonna take advantage, you know? They're gonna take advantage. And I wish to God I would have had a fighting chance. I would have done so. But people have to understand also is that plastic knives, serrated knives, can hurt a person. They could potentially, if it's done on the right angle where the serrated is, it can definitely puncture, especially with the pressure. So if a person has a plastic knife to your throat with serrated edge, and they put it on a certain angle and they press it a certain way, I'm pretty much sure they can slit your throat. I'm pretty much sure. But nevertheless, the truth is this, is that if I would have known that it was a plastic knife, I would have most definitely tried to stop him. Okay? Tried to stop him. I would have done, at least done something, at least try to knee him in the balls. So that's my first traumatic experience in HP, guys. That was my first time I've been raped. And do I know all of them in chronological order? No, I don't. I'd be lying to you if I said I did, but that for sure was the first one I mentioned, was the first one that happened to me. Now, in between that has stuff happened to me from the first to the second time to the third time? Absolutely. Do I remember all of them? Probably not. It's happened too many times. Do I remember the ones that were really memorable, like and traumatic, as they all are, but some stick with you more than others? Absolutely. 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 I absolutely cannot possibly, and as good as my memory is, and how I attain information, amazingly so, with all of the drugs and the homelessness and the negligence on my life and my health, and the abuse that I endured and the mental stability of which that I have maintained, I can't believe it. I leave myself totally in awe that it's not me. I'm not bragging, guys. This is all because of the Lord. That's how people have to know that God exists, man. There's no way that people like and I'm not the only one. It's 32 minutes and counting, guys. I gotta go. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut it off with such emphasis of what I'm saying to you guys, but if I don't stop now, I won't be able to upload it. So please, guys, somebody can help me look up this whole thing with my arrest history and with Mike. Please, guys, I will pay anybody who's willing to help me. I'm serious, guys. Please, for my own closure. All right? Ciao. God bless you guys. Thank you for listening. Bobby from the Bronx signing out. Ciao.